Hi, Glenn Crouter here. Thank you very much for listening to Head for the Hills, all brought to you by our good friends at eWool. They have a product that nobody else, believe me. And we're going to do local stuff and destination this entire season. We are so looking forward to it, and I'm so looking forward to talking to you over the next 5 months. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show.
An original
from Story Studio Network.
Well, here we are. Buckle up. Head for the Hills. Dave Trafford here with Glenn Crowder. I think in the last 6 weeks, my daughter-in-law and son have been off skiing in Quebec, making the most of it. And they make me jealous because it's been a while since I've been to Quebec. They went to school in Montreal, so we used to love visiting Montreal when they were going to McGill. But it's been a long time since I've been to Quebec City, and I know you were there recently. I love that town. What a gorgeous spot.
Unbelievable, Dave. I really was taken back. I haven't been there for probably about 12 years. I had a really weird experience because I was speaking English. They asked us to leave a restaurant, which is a little crazy, but it was just something a little different. This time, the arms were open. The welcoming flags were there. It was absolutely outstanding. And I'll tell you what, Quebec itself, as you've heard in the last little while, I've been traveling quite a bit through Quebec because for one, it is so close for us as Torontonians and anybody in Ontario. It's close, and it has some amazing skiing. I'm not going to compare it to Banff and the Rockies in British Columbia, but I'm going to certainly tell you, you've got some great elevation, some fun, especially Quebec City. I was so taken back by Quebec City. It's Europe all in one, and you're only 8 hours away from Toronto by driving.
Yeah, and it just the history there, and I know we'll spend time in this show because we're going to talk to Patrick Lemaire about the outdoor recreational, particularly the skiing. But there's just a ton of stuff going on there. But I love just the history. I mean, the age of old Quebec to me still blows me away in terms of what you think about the history of this continent.
It truly does. And I took a tour of the Frontenac, Fairmont Frontenac Hotel,
oh, yeah.
And I had a behind-the-scenes look at all the different rooms. This is where Winston Churchill made a decision on this. This is where President Kennedy, This is where President Reagan. He took me through all these rooms that nobody gets to see. It was behind the scenes everywhere I walked through, and it's such a history book, that hotel, and it stands up there so loud and proud, overlooking the St. Lawrence, I guess, back in the day when they were invading the city or possibly invading the city.
All right, Patrick's in the wings, but before we go, we just want to remind folks that this show does not happen without the good support and the excited support. I think they quite enjoy being part of this show. The folks at eWool, and we've been talking a lot about the vests and the various, the heated garments that you are able to purchase, wear, and it just means for more enjoyment when you're outside and enjoying some of that. Yeah, it's cold out there, but that's going to be the kind of the nature of the beast at this time of year. So the eWool folks make the trip out on the slopes, the skidoo, the ice fishing, whatever it happens to be, all the more enjoyable. So if you want to check out their product, do so at ewool.com.
Well, that music certainly gets me in the mood to skiing. I don't know about you guys out there, but that certainly makes us all want to move a little bit. And I just came back from one fantastic trip to Quebec City. I know we've talked a lot about Quebec and everything they have to offer, but I have to tell you, Quebec City is probably one of the most exciting, one of the most innovative, one of the most cultural cities I've ever been to in my life. It's a touch of Europe right in Canada. I'd like to bring on a gentleman that I got a great chance to ski with at Stoneham, Patrick Lemaire from Destination Quebec City. Patrick, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Bonjour. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Patrick, we wanted to talk right off the bat about Hôtel de Glace because that's where I started my excursion, and I had a wonderful week at Quebec City. So tell us a little bit about Hôtel de Glace and what I experienced, and you can tell people about as well.
Yeah, you were really impressed, right? It has to be on your bucket list, either just to visit it or to really sleep inside of the Ice Hotel. The Ice Hotel, through the years, moved to several locations, but now it belongs to Village Vacances Valcartier, where it's a place. It's a resort for families, for snow rafting, snow tubing. They have a hotel there, an indoor water park outside in the summer. But in the winter now, since 4 years approximately, the Ice Hotel is located at that location, which is approximately 25 minutes, 30 minutes driving distance from downtown.
Everything is so close to downtown. We're talking about downtown being Quebec City. And I wanted to thank very much Frederick Johansson for taking me around and showing me what it was truly an experience, because it's not just what they think is a small hotel. It is huge. I think like 28 suites. Each suite is hand-carved and completely of ice. And each room has a theme, which really caught me off guard because the lighting and the ambiance is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, you really feel like in the movie Frozen. It's a piece of art every room. To be more precise, it's 22 different suites and 8 standard rooms. And some of the rooms have their private hot tubs, or otherwise there are public hot tubs for the general room. So it's really one of a kind experience. They have an ice bar there. There are lots of people in businesses doing parties there to celebrate winter. You know, in Quebec, as soon as the snow falls with the German Christmas market, there's no moment that it's boring in Quebec during winter, because we have events all year round, followed by the Winter Carnival soon in February 3rd to 12th. So it's a must try too.
Oh, for sure. And I don't want to scare people away about Hotel Glace, because when I was talking to Frederick, he also mentioned each ice suite also has a room booked in the hotel. So if for some reason you get a little weak need or get really cold one night, you can certainly check back into the hotel. So it's not a case that you're stuck at a nice hotel in a room and you're basically sleeping. Now, they've got all sorts of protection on there as far as fur and things like that, but you're basically sleeping on an iceberg, a big piece of ice, which is interesting in itself. It's a little cool. But nevertheless, it's a real true experience. So just moving on, I'd like to kind of do a little bit of my itinerary here, Patrick, because it was such an exciting week for me. Right downtown to the Quebec City, I stayed at Hotel La Capitale, and I was really impressed with that hotel because it's right at the gate of old Quebec City. So it's a 2-second walk to the main street, right across from the skating rink and every bit of the action that you could see in Quebec City. And tell me why, I know why, but tell me why you think Quebec City is a place that people should put on their trip agenda.
First of all, it's a UNESCO World Heritage City. The old town, it's the only fortified city north of Mexico. So it's the closest thing to Europe that you have driving distance from home. And the food is amazing. There are events, as I said, all year round. It's a real 4-season destinations, and nature, as you mentioned, is really close by. It's not an hour and a half or 15 to be in nature. It's only a 15-20 minutes. So Quebec City is a very vibrant city, and I think that people will find something exotic, unique in Quebec. The fact for sure it's a French-speaking city, but it's a very touristic city as well. So there is no issue to communicate in the restaurants, hotel, or any touristic businesses.
It's about as close to a European city as I've ever seen in my life, but we don't have to leave Canada for it.
Exactly, and it's really cool. You should have a look at the Winter Carnival website, carnaval.qc.ca, because it's the event coming very soon. And also, you had the chance to ski around. We can maybe talk about this a little bit.
Well, we'll talk about skiing for sure.
Just before we do, Patrick, just take me back to the Ice Hotel. I mean, you know, this is sort of an add-on to the existing hotel, but what kind of work goes into, you know, sort of redeveloping that infrastructure every winter?
What's great is that it's new every year, as you mentioned. Every year they wrecking ball it at mid-March because of insurance issue and security issues. It's a team of maybe 30 to 40 people that really are magicians of art, of snow and ice, and they are multidisciplinary artists that sometimes in the summer they do sand sculptures competition, wood sculpture competition, and they kind of develop their own expertise because we're the only place in North America who build ice hotel. And we have the Ice Palace at the Winter Carnival as well, and they are like tight-knit and they know each other and they work together for many years. So it starts maybe at the beginning of mid-December when it's cold enough and where they produce snow. And at the beginning, they have to build the floor to make sure everything will be stable. They have some mold. It's 23 years ago, they got inspired by the Ice Hotel in Sweden. So it's some mold that they put a lot of snow on it. They tap it and ice also. And then they are placed on ski and they remove the mold at the end and then sculpt the interior of it.
I'm just thinking that a lot of other developers could take a page out of their on time, on budget routine. That's phenomenal.
It's a lot of investment, and it's ephemeral in a certain way because it's very popular, and it's one of our unique selling proposition in Quebec in the wintertime, and lots of people are enjoying their visits for sure.
People have to visit, absolutely 100%. And look, hey, we were there to ski. And the great thing about this show, Head for the Hills, we get an opportunity not only to talk about skiing, but also the cities that we visit, the attractions, because not everybody in the family skis. There has to be something for other people to enjoy as they travel with the, quote, the skiers of the border. So let's move over to Stoneham. I thoroughly enjoyed a great day with you. We had a beautiful Bluebird day, and Stoneham's a real cool resort. It's a family feel, which is a little bit different than Mount St. Anne and Le Massif. So first of all, a little bit about Stoneham and a little bit about why we really appreciate and enjoy skiing there.
Stoneham is only 20 minutes driving distance from town. It's my hometown. Actually, I grew up there, so I skied there my own life. It's a great place. They have a great snow park for snowboarding as well, maybe 20-something slopes. And it's really accessible. And in the surrounding, what's cool is that not everybody's skiing, sometimes in a family. So they have Fat Bike resort in the area, also Empire 47, a great after ski microbreweries that we had the chance to experience. La Souche, yes, it's a great place to ski. It's not as high maybe as the Alps of the Rockies for sure, but the fact that you're located just 20 minutes from a UNESCO World Heritage City makes it quite more interesting. Yes, for sure.
I was really interested because it has such a great feel to it. It has a traditional chalet, and the hills are really good. The conditions are fantastic as well. All right, let's move over about maybe 20 minutes the other side to Mount St. Anne. Of course, there was that concern about a month ago with the gondolas. Those are all gone. I thoroughly enjoyed my day at Mount St. Anne, and you don't even have a clue that there was a problem with the gondola because the lifts are working fantastic.
Yes, the resort is still in operations, and the region at Côte de Beaupré, it's really worth the visit. And they have also above the alpine skiing, they have the biggest snow cross-country skiing. I told you how much I love the cross-country skiing. They have an amazing cross-country skiing resort there. And one of the biggest assets at Mont Saint Anne is the wonderful view that you have right away in front of you on the St. Lawrence River when you're skiing there.
I was really surprised. I surprised, maybe quite the word, but your vertical, the elevation, you're really high at Mount St. Anne when I never thought being on top there, it was going to be that high.
Yeah, it's approximately maybe 300 meters above, higher than Stoneham. So it's quite interesting, and not so far away after that, you have Le Massif that has now the only Club Med in Canada. 4-season destination since December 21st. So it's also another region that you have to visit, and the food is amazing there as well.
Le Massif, I've been there before. It hasn't been, I guess, about 10 years ago. It continues to amaze me. I was really taken back by everything about it. Now, I have to admit, I did get caught in that snowstorm, the 40 to 50 centimeters. It took me roughly about an hour and a half to go from St. Anne to Le Massif, which is usually about a 20-minute drive. But it was a white knuckler all the way, but well worth it. And the next day I got there, everybody talks about the amazing snow you get at Massif. It was absolutely staggering and unbelievable, Patrick.
I'm very glad that you that you loved it. And as you know, we have 4 ski resorts in the area, which is quite cool for the ski lovers. And the city is so nearby. So I would suggest to everyone to come and try for the first time if their ski experience in Quebec and all the surroundings that we have with the events and the attractions as well.
You know, at Le Massif, I was really impressed not only with the fact of the mountains, the hills, the gondola. It's really kind of different. I have to warn people, if you're going to Le Massif, what you do is you go to the main chalet and then you ski down. Opposed to getting in the chalet and then skiing up the hill and taking a lift, you take the gondola down to your runs. And it's the only place that I call infinity pool skiing because on some hills, it looks like it's so close to the St. Lawrence, it looks like you're skiing right into the St. Lawrence. It's a little weird, it's a little freaky, but it really is something. The conditions there are absolutely amazing. And Isabel, the public relations girl, is absolutely tremendous to work with. Matter of fact, the day was so bad that I was there, she suggested going luging. 7.5K of luging up the mountain. A cat takes us up to the top. I was thoroughly impressed with this, and then we went down 7.5K all the way to the bottom. And Patrick, let me tell you, that was quite the exhilarating experience.
I tried it once, and it's really amazing. It's something unique, and with some speechless view also on the St. Lawrence River. So yes, this is quite unique too at Le Massif, the wood sleigh. Yes.
When you just as we wind up here, Patrick, speaking with Patrick Lemaire from Québec City Destination, and Patrick, just want to make a point that I travel the world and have a great experience. I must admit, the itinerary that you put together along with your people you work with was really staggering. It was really impressive. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I just want to wind up by saying Québec City, if I can say this, Québec City offers everything to everybody. You don't have to be a skier. You don't have to do these things because there's so many things to do and see in Québec City and the surrounding areas.
Thank you. Thank you for your good words. It's a teamwork with our team and our partners. And when we say that Québec City, you will feel the warm welcome and the festive Québécois lifestyle, it has to be true. So I hope that's what you felt when you were in Quebec, and I hope your listener would have the chance to try it too.
Absolutely. Just want to mention Charlevoix is a great place to visit. That's where Le Germain Hotel is, which is about 15 minutes away from Le Massif, if you're not staying at the Club Med right on location. Patrick Lemaire, I wanted to thank you very much for everything. It was great skiing with you, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
It was a great pleasure, and see you maybe at the Winter Carnival.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Merci.
And just before we go, I just want to remind people, because yes, the carnival is coming. So February 3rd to the 12th, February 3 to 12, 2023, the Quebec Winter Carnival. And, I don't know about you, Glenn. I'm sure that's one of my earliest memories of a kid of association with Quebec was Bonhomme.
Truly. Well, actually, we were participating. We had the Thornhill Cleaners in the Pee Wee hockey tournament. We made it to the finals.
Wow.
At the Coliseum. 20,000 people. I think we were 12 years old, 13 years old.
Yeah.
And they had a guy named Cochise who ended up playing for the Montreal Canadiens the next year, and supposedly he was a Pee Wee. But the next year, this guy had a slap shot from the blue line that went whistling over Buddy's head. And I was a goaltender. My goodness, I changed my you-know-whats about 4 times. It was phenomenal. And 20,000 people in the Coliseum. And I was just like, this was the local team. And they beat us, I think, by 3 goals. But nevertheless, it was quite the experience.
Yeah, the Quebec Pee Wee hockey tournament used to be a thing, right?
It was.
So,
we wait to the finals. We beat Shopsies, all the teams, everywhere, all the teams from anywhere in North America. We whipped them all and then came to this one last team. And my goodness, it was a thrill.
Well, great memories out of Quebec. Glenn, we're looking forward to talking to you next week. Enjoy it.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Our technical producer and audio editor for Head for the Hills is Mike Trutler. Our production manager is Jamie Nickerson. Our executive producer is Aaron Trafford. And our sonic logo designer is Greg McDonald. I'm Dave Trafford. Thanks for listening.
This
is SSN.